right, guys, what is up? Welcome back to Truth and Transparency, Ohio versus Michael McKee. This is the arraignment, the Tepe murders. We're going to play it here on a little bit of a delay because we were down there. Welcome back. All right, here we go. We managed to stay right behind. Check this out. Right. I'm going to tell you how long this lasted.
One count of
We're literally sitting in the front row right behind this man. Okay? Like, you cannot see me and Bella. We are right there, right behind him.
aggravated burglary, felony 1. Each of these counts come with a 3 and a 6-year firearm specification.
Thank you. Counsel, please make your appearance.
Thank you, Your Honor. Diane.
Okay, so it was just hilarious. Hilarious. I should just tell you what a skinny bitch Bella is, right? Just had to make you laugh there. Anyways, welcome back to Truth and Transparency. So we're obviously earlier. We go in early. We start bringing you guys the play-by-play from the courtroom. I told you guys what people were wearing. Told you guys we were in the front row. But when Diane went ahead and put her little bag down, I make a comment to her, about like, clearly she's a warrior, man. She fights for our rights, and I have the utmost respect for her. So much so that I have to make this known that back in the late 1990s, I was a huge fan of Kentucky and Duke. And even in the early 90s, same thing. I was a huge fan of Kentucky and Duke, and they were always playing each other. And it was really hard for me it was great that both of my teams were there, but like, who do I root for? So how this is going to work out is that you're going to see the utmost admiration that I can possibly give Diane, because she's literally the last, I think, 3 cases that she's had, she's won. I think that she should have won those cases. I believe that my opinion on the death penalty is pretty much what her opinion is. And but she also outright won 3 like acquittals. And she had 3 wins, big wins in 2022. And now she's on the Shanna Gardner case. And I'm like, I knew that Diane, if I was Michael McKee, there's only one person I'm picking for this case. And it's like, he went and got the best person. So he obviously across the board, we told you not guilty. He was going to go across the board, not guilty. We were able to actually watch from a different camera than y'all are seeing right here. You guys are seeing some projection screen down in the courtroom. We actually have a camera that's like right in front of us, up right into the corner on both sides. And so what we watched is, you guys see how Michael McKee had his like name tag on right here? Well, that name tag was shaking, number one. His arms were shaking when he was like waiting, when they brought him up on the screen. This is 1 minute and 15 seconds. And so we noticed that. We immediately get it into the chat to you guys. We also want to say that nobody from the families were there. But I think that the prosecutors would have told them that you don't need to come to this. He's not going to be there, type of thing. They let him go first because it was high profile and all the cameras were there. So there was 35 defendants set to be arraigned at 1. He was scheduled to be like 8 or 9. He went first. This is what she says.
I'm asking on behalf of Michael McKee.
Thank you.
Your Honor, with respect to the allegations, we would acknowledge receipt, waive reading, enter not guilty pleas to all counts contained therein. We would also waive bond at this time, although we certainly reserve the right to raise that at a later date. The plea of not guilty form has been executed and signed on behalf of my client. Nothing further.
Thank you, counsel. I've signed the not guilty plea. I'm signing the bond form indicating the bond has been waived. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Next case, please.
So we got a completely different look than you guys got. We got the look of the regular TV screen, and we got to watch him the whole time when the lawyers were talking. We weren't allowed to have our cameras out on that TV screen, but that's where we saw what we saw. Diane made a comment and she said she's back. And the reason that she's saying that she's back, in my opinion, is because she's back in the courtroom and she's back to, do another case. She's all business. When I say all business, she can flick it on and off like a light switch. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Before all this started, which you guys just witnessed there, her and the prosecutors were talking for a good 10 minutes. And the first thing that she did was she already had an external hard drive and she handed that to one of the prosecutors. And basically what that was is, here you go, put whatever you guys have to give us for as far as discovery goes on that external hard drive. That's what it showed me. So she hands the external hard drive over. The guy takes it. And then she has awesome conversation, as well as the prosecutors have awesome conversation with her. And what I mean by awesome conversation is they actually have a conversation and their gamesmanship, they're talking, they know each other. This is not their first rodeo of knowing who Diane is, and vice versa. And so it was amazing to see from the stance of an outsider looking in that here, this is going to be done the right way. Okay. This is going to be done the right way. As in, you're here to defend somebody's, their rights, and we're here to prosecute. And we're going to show gamesmanship, which is they have obviously either it was a big show for the media, which I do not think it was. They actually had to wait an extra 6 minutes because since this was a high profile case, they didn't want to start early because people weren't ready as far as the camera crews and the stations and stuff. So they waited exactly at 1 to do this. They were talking. It was nice to see. It was very nice to see, as from a obviously the cameras couldn't be rolling before or after, but we got to see what we got to see. And it needs to be known that everybody was communicating, and it looked like just the gamesmanship, what you'd want to see. And how I can best describe it for me as an athlete is 2 coaches talking to each other before a big game in an NCAA tournament game. That's how it should be. For those of you guys that watch football, when coaches are talking, beforehand, that's what I saw. So I wanted to bring you that. So now he didn't say anything. She pled not guilty across the board. We knew that was going to happen. Now we're just simply waiting. So when we left then the building, I immediately go to Diane. We walk out. I was immediately, we walked out before she did. We immediately go out, and because I was prepared, I was like, what am I going to ask? I knew that she wasn't going to say anything. And so I want to be straight up and honest about what I said. And I said that, hey, I'm one of the people that had cameras down in and around the immediate area. If you don't have tips that came in from then you need to be asking for them. And now you could say, Alana, well, why would you ever do something like that? Well, because you don't know who I am. I'm all about what's fair is fair. Okay. The evidence is going to be the evidence, and it should just be the evidence. You don't need to withhold evidence. You don't need to bolster and lie about evidence. It is what it is. So, then that was it. It was, hey, I was the one that had all the cameras down there. If you don't have a bunch of tips from X, Y, and Z, you should probably look into that. Now, Lana, why would you do such a thing? Because that's who I am. I would say the same thing to anybody, I just what it is. The truth is the truth. Doesn't matter. Evidence is evidence. So do I think that they have the wrong guy? No, I think they have the right guy. I think that he is the right guy. But everybody is entitled to their defense. I've seen one too many cases where if anybody was to watch certain cases, they would be like, oh my God, so-and-so was so guilty. And it's like, wait, no, but I could see why you think that. So from here, looking at, I think Columbus is going to have a big hurdle here. First of all, Jesus, do they have Diane on the other side? I believe he's going to get Jose Baez, but more importantly, we have a big problem with that they didn't respond. They went to the wrong house, and then this crime scene is contaminated to the point that the people went into the house. So however he would have gotten in, that's going to be all destroyed. His only footsteps going in and going upstairs, his only footsteps in that room and coming down. All of those things were needed to be preserved, and now the scene has been completely contaminated. And so that's going to be a hurdle for the prosecution. And we've said that, and I said whoever gets in that defendant's seat is going to have an advantage with that. And that's just so freaking that's frustrating. That's frustrating. That's sad. Brad Harris says Casey Anthony was so guilty, so I can't stand Paez. I never watched that case. Crazy, right? Never watched that case. But there are other cases that I have watched of Jose Baez that's where my opinion is. Again, I think the Casey Anthony case is another case that's just, it was so the cases of when people are like supposedly missing or you can't get in touch with them, those cases have the immediate potential to be contaminated. But William has a good point there. I think they overcharged Casey Anthony. I think Jose Baez did something that not too many lawyers would do, which is that he went at and placed the father as potentially being the one. What was the case that? Oh, the Darley case out of Texas. If Darley's defense team would have placed the blame on her husband in that trial, I think it could have been different. So that's what I think about that. But back to this case here. People have been asking me since last night, do I think that she just took the case because she's death penalty certified? Do I just think that she took the case because she's going to get it knocked down plea deal so that he doesn't, there's nothing with a death penalty? No, I don't. And the reason why is because of him. I don't think he as a surgeon, yeah. I don't think that he's going to be like, yep, okay, fine, I did it. No, he's gonna go down swinging. He's whatever it is. That's what I see. I don't disagree with what Brad's saying as far as that you could maybe not stand somebody, but I think it's all about our rights. Okay. If it wasn't for defense attorneys, people that are actually innocent wouldn't have a damn chance, And so the other thing that's crazy is, think about this. Do you think that the police department and the chief and anybody that was to ever talk about this case or any other case is going to come out and talk about it in light of that the person they believe did it didn't do it? No. Just so we're clear, there was no decorum order put in like prior to. There was no I don't want my client to be, in shackles or in a jumpsuit or anything like that. When we were walking out, Diane didn't go right out the door to be outside to her vehicle or anything like that. She went back and we're like, you go to like file stuff. I'm not the type that's going to like, she's doing a job. You know what I mean? Go do your job. But where she was walking back towards, she could have been potentially filing more things. So I'm curious to see if she files anything. There's no gag order. As far as William just asked if there's a gag order, there's no gag order. There was no courtroom decorum order either. We straight up asked what we could do and what we couldn't do. Because I just wanted to get a picture of all the cameras that were in the courtroom. It wasn't just like there was one camera in there, guys. There were 7 cameras in there, potentially 8. And they were where the jury box is. The courtroom had hardly anybody in it. Yeah. They let him go first. But so now what should happen here is that we should have the probable cause get lifted. So the probable cause should get lifted here. And that means that we're going to be able to see it was like a 5 to 6 page filing as far as the probable cause on everything to do with this arrest, the search warrants, everything, depending on how they did it. So she could have also went back immediately after he pled and gets to see now. She gets to actually see what okay, let me see what this all entails. What are we dealing with here? What's this 5 or 6 pages? So I am 1000% on board with this. I also am not totally convinced it's him in the video 1000%. And I have a lot of reasons for that. They never gave us a timestamp on that video. Okay. If there's not a timestamp with that video, I have so many problems with that video. Number 1. Number 2, that's walking towards the house. Okay. That video is walking towards the house. That video compared to every other camera they should have down there absolutely sucks. Okay. That video sucks. We really want to know what they have at the house that's right next to the Tepe's house. That's all that matters, in my opinion. I am waiting to hear about what license plate readers they used. If this involves Flock, I am totally invested to even like the 50th, times 50. I've never covered a case where Flock cameras have been used. I'm interested in that. I want to know way more about Flock cameras because this is the first time that I've covered a case. If Flock cameras are used, I mean, we're covering it from gavel to gavel, but if Flock cameras are used, this will be the first time that I've covered a case where we're going to see this in a courtroom. Pretty interesting. Let me show you guys a little something about Diane. You always want to know who your opponent is. And so the state knows who their opponent is. She's amazing when it comes to police not doing their jobs. Let me show you something.
Visual, theatric, kind of, just catty little questions in my head. So Jose Baez.
Yeah.
Right. So he's looking for an attorney. You're in your driveway. You call because you worked with him at Harvard. You're like, hey, bud, what are you doing? Like, you got the dime here.
Yeah.
The rest is history. So when you first meet Jose, and he's done, Casey Anthony and Hernandez and all this, like when you already knew him, but like when you're working with him at this level and you guys are first starting to work together, is he a sexy guy initially? Or is he like, what's his like presence in a room? Because
I love this interview.
Like,
I'm
give me
really hoping. I mean, he's going to love it that I say this. Like, if you ever want to like have Jose on as a guest, here's how you're going to get it. I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
No, I'm going to give it to you right now.
Spoon feed me.
He super sexy. No, this is going to get Jose.
Hold on one second.
Results.
Okay, this is what I love about her. Okay. I got to keep it real. To say that Jose Baez is super sexy, and I believe that Diane has never played with a Ken doll in her entire life, if you know what I mean. She says it earlier in the interview. She's like, I was just lighting my Barbies on fire. I didn't play with Ken dolls then, and I don't play with Ken dolls now. So take it for what you want about what that means.
She does.
Right.
Without like the je ne sais quoi about him, right? And he walks in a room and he's got this confidence despite the fact that he's my height. I'm not going to say he's short, but
yeah.
And he's got good style.
Okay.
Speaks multiple languages.
Pretty impressive.
And here's the thing that he has that I don't have. And I have a lot of things that he doesn't have.
We'll get to that.
That's
maybe we'll get to that.
Maybe
a vagina is one.
Longer list, but the clients love him. The clients love him.
He has
that's for Brad. I had to play that part for Brad. Okay. So that's not what she's there to do. She's there to find loopholes in their prosecution and get a killer off. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. You guys, if the evidence is there, this man's going to be convicted. Do you understand that? And if you don't believe that, then you don't believe in our system. Okay. Now, I told you guys who he was going to go get. This is who he's going to get. Now, back to you guys remember the the Reagan Tokes case. If you guys remember this. She saved the guy's life that was up for the death penalty in that case, okay? And because of her belief in the death penalty and what she thinks about it, all right? You should listen to what she's talking about with that. But let's talk about right here when she talks about with her clients, what she wants to know, what she doesn't want to know. She makes some really good points, man.
That was the form they filled out. But what was amazing about it was they were so, they still have annual picnics. They were so respectful. The four were so respectful of the vocal about what happened to their daughter in that case. But I also think it's really tragic.
They're like, oh, let's look at the GPS.
Yeah,
and I get it. There's only so many caseworkers and there's so many, people out there and all of that. But I just feel like if I were her parents and her family, and you look back at that and you're like, God, he was just walking around with this ankle bracelet on with no one paying attention.
Of course, I think that there need to be laws. And when you break the law, there need to be consequences. But I will say something about the Reagan Tokes case is I agree that the facts were horrific. And it was a struggle for me because it was sort of like every woman's nightmare. But the truth,
hear that? It was a struggle for me. It's every woman's nightmare what she went through. Okay? So I want everybody to hear this from a defense attorney. When you want to talk about why would anybody ever take somebody's case or why, I try to educate myself if I want to know something about somebody, if I'm going to cover something. I better know what the fuck I'm talking about or at least or that I think I know what I'm talking about, okay? Otherwise, I'm an ignorant person, in my opinion. I'm just like, why would I ever talk about something that I didn't research? Why would I ever have an opinion about something that I don't have any knowledge on? I'll be the first one to tell anybody, when you want to talk to me about something that I do not know and I do not care about, I make it very known that I'm like, I don't even care what you're talking about. So maybe we should pick another topic to talk about. But if I'm interested in something, oh yeah, I want to hear more about that. Like explain that to me, because I want to hear your side of how you look at something, or whatever, your specialty is about what I want to hear about. I want to hear what you have to say. So listen to this.
Is I've had capital cases that actually, if you divorce yourself from Reagan Tokes' family, the fact that she came from affluence, the fact that her parents were on the media, that, I've had capital cases that were, multiple children, where the victims were Black. And, the families didn't have the power and the presence to be able to really get in front of a camera and to get an audience like the Tokes did. And I think, and so I just say this, I understand, I really do understand as much as one can that isn't experiencing it, why and how the Tokes, were very vocal about what happened to their daughter in that case. But I also think it's really tragic that there's so many other people that are killed, that their story, nobody cares about their stories. Moms that have lost 2 sons to gang violence. And when I say 2, it's going to be 3 or 4. Nobody cares about their stories.
I
And
don't hear about their stories.
They don't.
Yeah.
And so while I
Because the media doesn't cover it. Because it's not going to get you ratings.
completely understand how and why they exercise their power, it's so sad to me, and I really mean this, there's so many stories. I wish there were fewer. But to have a child murdered, horrible, horrible. And there's many parents out there that have had more than one child murdered. And so I hear you.
Yeah. No, and I agree. And as I was doing research on this and going back and revisiting that, there were a couple of other cases that inevitably were brought up that I don't remember that case. Why weren't we talking about that? So that's a whole nother rabbit hole we could go down. I just, in general, hope that we can have some kind of a better way to track people, so that if they're, it's just crazy.
No, and it was part of the failure. And,
yeah,
sometimes we win, sometimes we learn.
Yep.
That's my, motto. And I certainly think it's a situation where we learn.
Yeah.
I also want to say greatness from that is the jury. The jury was, we went back there afterwards. And
Okay, so listen how this works in Ohio. You have to have unanimous. So you go through the penalty phase, so you're going through the guilt phase, and then you have the penalty phase. So in Ohio, if you want to go for the death penalty, all 12 of your jurors have to say death penalty. It's all or nothing. Okay, so if you have 8 and 4, 6 and 6, nope, all or nothing. Listen to this. If you really truly want to hear from, this was 2 years ago, this interview.
Spent a significant amount of time with them, hours. And, they went home the first night and they said they were 6-6, life, death, 6-6, which blew my mind. That 6 people were on the side of life. And in most capital cases, after they deliberate for days, once they think they have a verdict, they do sleep on it. That's very customary. And I think that's the way it should be done.
Mm-hmm.
You're making a decision of that gravity. You should sleep on it.
Yeah.
And they did. And they came back the next day as they told the story. And it was 8-4. 4 were still life. And there's a law in Ohio that it has to be unanimous, either one way or the other, or there's a third verdict form that says, we're split, we can't decide. And that was the form they filled out. But what was amazing about it was they were so, they still have annual picnics. They were so respectful. The 4 were so respectful of the 8, and the 8 was so respectful of the 4. Which is, I can't even explain to you how mind-blowing that is, right? That you could be so, because they both understood the views of the other. And I took that as such a success, and I don't mean to be a narcissist about this, but I took that as such a success for me because I made space for a really, really hard conversation.
Mm-hmm.
mental health, the fact that he was raped as a child, reactive perpetration, putting responsibility on the parole board, putting responsibility on our school system, on our Department of Youth Services, on our foster care, that we have to be able to give responsibility to those systems.
Yeah.
Right. To be able to understand, how someone like Brian could be the person that he is.
100%.
Yeah. And so I was just, there was such camaraderie in the room, hugging each other. It was incredible. And I just thought what a moment it was that, jurors that do capital cases are never the same. They're never the same. And just that they
Believe that. Like, listen to her talk about that. Listen to her talk about the fact that, because it's like how I feel. How are you going to put a lawyer or even like us as citizens in the position to say like, yeah, we should take this person's life? Like, I believe that that's only God. And life in prison without the possibility of parole, and you're never coming out. Okay. To me, that's worse than death. I mean, who wants to live in prison for the rest of their life? But nothing's going to bring that person back. Nothing is going to bring that person back. Nothing is. And I do not like when I see the death penalty is used as a bargaining chip as to how the state gets out of not going through a trial. Have your trial, this kid, she knew that she was defending, he was guilty. All she was there to do was to save his life so that he doesn't die. Okay. And it's called mitigating. Hey, this is everything this kid has went through. Okay. I have to tell you about his life. All right. And at the end of the day, and what I think was amazing is when I was listening to this, I listened to it a couple times, but then I listened to it again last night and I shared it on my page. And I was like, she makes such a really good point, which is the jurors were able to like all respect each other and talk about something that nobody would ever want to talk about. And everybody was respecting everybody's views. And what it comes down to is I respect how you feel and you respect how I feel. So we're all at an impasse and nobody was pressuring each other to say, we have to come to a decision. No, it's, hey, you guys, I get it. Hey, I can't move on this. Or, hey, I'm asking you to come my way or you're asking me to come your way. Who are we to do that to each other? Like, I think that's wrong. Okay. And it's like, it's a very, I just keep preaching to put yourself in the position of the jurors that would ever have to make that. Like, no, we should not ask our jurors, our citizens, to ever have to do something like that, to be on the jury, to ever do that. We should also never ask citizens who become attorneys one day to ever have to be, this person's life is in your hands with this. Like, come on, man. Like, I just think that we're better than that. We can go through our justice system and they're going to just spend the rest of their life in prison without the possibility of parole. So that's my take, is that I want us to look at the death penalty from the standpoint of taking it from the point of like, why would we ever put citizens through being on a jury for that penalty phase? Why would we ever put a lawyer in that position who are, like, again, a citizen? That's how, that's how I ask people to look at it.
He created this family and had really communicated through the most.
5th,
2022, the police said that this man staged his wife's suicide. Matthew Moore, okay? The shit he did not at all, okay? Listen to this piece.
Matthew Moore, I mean, the guy is on trial for killing his wife and calling it, basically, framing it as a suicide, right? Let's go back to Mixer here and listen to it.
I watched that clock at 1:50 p.m.
On August 25th, 2022, I remember telling you jurors that times were important in this case. And when I said that in voir dire, I had no idea how important. At 1:50 on August 25th, 2022, I heard, no, you heard for the first time that the state thinks Emily was killed in the woods. And if any one of you thought when they heard that now he followed her on the walk, and you said to yourself, oh, so that's their theory? That's reasonable doubt.
So my question, I hear this. I mean, did the prosecution just fuck up royally there? Or was like, because right there in that closing argument,
Well, in their closing, they were like,
correct.
he killed her in the woods.
Right.
I'm like, hold on. We've been here for 2 weeks and he killed her at the house and then took her to the, this just in.
right. So when I'm listening,
So this is, I mean, I'm giving it to you guys raw and real. When you want to talk about somebody that pays attention to the timelines, when you want to talk about somebody that's going to pay attention to every little detail, she's not going to only know the law. She's going to know the facts of this case inside and out. She's going to know it better than anybody that she's going to go up against. And that's called preparation. Okay. Same way, Jose Baez. These two, in my opinion, they out prepare Alan Jackson all day. Now, Alan Jackson can argue and say, hey, in the Karen Reed case, we kept getting shut out. I disagree. Other night, I showed how if you would have divided up Jen McCabe's cell phone from her iPhone or her iWatch to her cell phone, you would have been able to see, holy shit. Anyways, there was no butt dialing able to be had by Jennifer McKee because her phone wasn't on her. Like, you need to know your facts. And if you don't know the facts of your case, you better get somebody on your team that is really, really good with connecting dots and hearing something and boom, she's this. She is one of the most prepared attorneys in the country, hands down. And guess what? She didn't walk in with no entourage today. It was just her. Okay. So in this Matthew Moore case, it was one of my best friends, her mom was on the jury. Her mom wrote a book. Her mom could not believe that these detectives were saying stuff when they had their suits on. They were saying stuff like, oh my God, I'm going to get my pants dirty, my suit jacket, my shoes dirty, walking in to go and try to find, and looking and doing what they were doing. And it's like, I love it that had no idea, because you're not supposed to talk about this stuff, had no idea that she was even on this jury. I come to find out when she releases this book. Okay. And I'm like, holy shit, this whole time you were on that jury? Like, oh my God. And she was appalled at what these investigators and these cops were doing at the crime scene and what they were saying to each other about not getting their shoes dirty while needing to go walk down in this little part of the woods to go. It's like, I cannot believe that you're saying that, right? On a body worn camera. Well, then maybe you should just get back in uniform and come out here in your hiking boots. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but who would say that when you're there to like investigate and be right on scene a homicide? And just to hear a juror talk about that, it was just
to this, I'm like, okay, game over, right? I mean,
Court TV, the sense was game over. But I was in it.
These poor prosecutors, Diane.
I looked at the clock and I was like, I mean, that's why 150, I don't take notes. I'm like, did he just fucking say that?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like,
say that.
Oh, yes, he did.
But he also stormed out of the courtroom a couple days. It was actually really, I mean, you had them so rattled. Yeah. And I have another clip here that I have to set this.
They knew 1/10 of the case compared to her.
The stage for.
So I want to say this though. This is because you're such a awesome athlete, and and sort of.
So is Diane, by the way. She big softball player, but then she went on and she was actually a rower. Tulane and where then did she go for she's actually originally from Seattle. So everybody that's out there in the West Coast world over there, she's originally from Seattle. How she wound up and is in Ohio is actually a really interesting story.
This is like Husel, Brian Goldsby taking the Quentin Smith case 8 months from Brian Goldsby. Husel, me calling Jose because I knew him and saying, you got to let me on your team. Matt Moore. These all are examples of what can happen when you believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that is true. This is true in sport. This is really true in sport. When you're like going up against, you know, the number 1, number 2, number 3 ranked team. I mean, this is trial work.
Yeah.
Because by the way, in defense work, the state is always the number 1 or number 2 ranked team. They are, because they are out resourcing you. They are out timed you everywhere you wanted to go. They've been there first. So it's like,
You want to know why this is my favorite defense attorney of all time? This is why. The mentality. She's an athlete.
no, their trainers are better. They're like their ice is better. Everything's better. She's
Their ice
built up
they're
that.
so
That's
true.
what I saw. On
Well,
the,
but my
Dude.
point is that,
So true.
you know,
So true. They get like the Sonic ice, and we're over here with these big ass like, and they get the Sonic nice crushed up ice. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Who doesn't love a good? Sonic has the best ice, man.
Matt Moore, after Husel, I was getting a lot of attention, which, you know, I felt was deserved for my entire career, but I was very thankful for it. And then Court TV and Law and Crime covered Matt Moore. And it was just me. You know,
Right.
Allie was there as my co-counsel, but I did every witness, every argument, and it was just me. And so,
and your Post-it notes.
and my Post-it notes, but this is, I know you always have like your hype song, you know, like
Mhm.
what song do you
Yeah.
get hyped up, you know? And I don't have a hype song. When I stand up, I always say to myself,
Light switch.
totally simple, like when I'm about to stand up for a cross or a closing or a moment when I know this is it, I just say, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
And then I just stand up and I'm like in it.
Light switch.
And I usually have a sticky note on the table that says LFG. Let's
That's
fucking
good.
go.
That's
Yeah.
good. Well,
Yeah.
like I have a quote here that you
Dude.
actually said in one of your, and it says, being in front of a jury is the ultimate physical grind and mental stress, while at the same time being the most incredible rush. I can't even imagine
Oh, it's
getting
incredible.
up. I can't even imagine.
So
it.
for the closing, this goes back to your mixing skills, which you've
Thank you.
clearly
I'm
demonstrated.
really
Talk about number 1 or number 2. So I felt like, I know everyone was like, I felt like I couldn't lose that case because I saw the prosecution and I was like, if this is enough to convict a man of murder, we're all fucked.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you guys see why I'm fucking torn? God, I'm like, of all people, Michael McKee is gonna get my fucking attorney. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Oh. Just a phenomenal fucking human being, man. She's the real deal. She's the best. And
I felt that. He was white, right? Middle class. I was like, this Menashe, you can't lose this case.
Mhm.
And then everyone was watching, but I really meant it like you can't lose it because
Menashe, you hear that? Menashe.
it's yours to win.
Yeah.
And so the night before the closing, when I'm putting together the closing, you know, I have my method to my madness. And but my madness is I'm not scripted, which is, as you know. And when I stood up for that closing, I was like, you know, I really did. I not only said, let's fucking go. I just told myself, this is gonna be the best closing you've ever done.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it was that, but part of it was I was so responsive in that closing to to the state and that time thing. Like, did you guys just hear that? Like, what is going on? And you know me, I was on the ground in that case. I had the cord around my neck.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very much like, that case really showed my theatrics in the courtroom.
No, you were Matthew McConaughey. You were up there. Okay. And I'm just gonna because I was juror number 13.
Okay. Yeah,
Vicarious. Okay. And it was amazing. So a couple things that just stand out to me are you
put up.
Okay, so here's due process.
The state had suppressed officer.
So right here, I want you guys to hear about due process.
there are people sitting in prisons that did not do it. And could you imagine, like, Shawshank Redemption, that movie, and of course, everything goes back to a movie and with my, or Dateliner.
Yeah.
But you think about Andy Dufresne sitting there carving out, and not everyone's as resourceful as Andy Dufresne, but my God, everyone deserves the right to a fair trial, and hopefully we do the right thing. But it's an imperfect world. Like, how?
For sure. And, I had the honor, it was such an honor in September to represent an individual up in Cleveland who had served 15 years before his case was reversed on Brady. The state had suppressed evidence from police officers that had actually exonerated him, when he was originally charged back in 2005.
Unbelievable.
And he did 15 years in prison, and his case was reversed and remanded for a retrial. And his attorneys came forward and said, would I do it on a pro bono basis? So, for free. And I read the filings, which I do before I agree to take on a case.
There you go.
No cost.
I wanted you to fucking hear that. I read stuff before I agree to take on a case. Okay. Especially then she says, especially one that's of no cost. Okay. Of no cost. I definitely read in. Okay.
And I was like, I'm in. And we did the case, 2-week trial in Cleveland and 14 counts, attempted murder. And, we put up the evidence that was suppressed in the first trial and gave him the representation that he deserved and the due process that he was owed by the Constitution and the equal protection. And the jury acquitted him of all 14 counts within 2 hours. And
Unbelievable.
What really struck me about that is Kenny was so hopeful. He's such a joyous person. And I've talked to him about that. Like, how could you be innocent and incarcerated and not just be angry?
Mm-hmm.
How could you continue to live? Because I question that about myself, because I'm not a person of religion. And I do understand that some people in that position turn greatly to religion as sort of a ring to hold on to. And so I think if it was me, what would I hold on to? But Kenny just says, I chose hope over anger. And he says, I knew that you, my angel, would find me.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. He always says like the cutest things. He's like, you're my angel. He still texts on Christmas. He texts, Merry Christmas, my angel.
I mean, come on. Like, so I'm over here, like, I want you guys to know why I respect this woman to the, like, if you're going to ask me, Lana, you get to pick Alan Jackson or Diane. Because Diane would probably get Alan Jackson if I needed him. No, I really truly mean that. Like, have you guys heard about that case in Cleveland? Yep. No. Nobody knows about all this shit. Fucking good, man. She's just the best.
And I just think, what a human. What a testament to just the power, right, of hope and belief and faith that I am here, but I will not be here forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the Kenny Phillips case really got to me in just a really a powerful way of, like, if Kenny can have that much strength and perseverance. And I have to tell you, Carrie, I was really tired in September.
I can't even imagine.
I was like physically really exhausted. And then we're up there and that case was big. And I just kept reminding myself, like, Kenny did, like, Diane. Like, let's fucking go here.
We can do this.
We can do this.
Yeah, he's on 15
And I
years.
was really tired. And then there was
Rally.
Kenny every morning. Good morning, my angel.
Isn't it amazing though, where you like the inspiration you draw from?
Oh, and his family, unbelievable. His family, all those years. And you know why the only reason why Kenny's case got reversed and why they found me was because he had a mom that never stopped believing in him. I told her this after the verdict, when the jurors came down and the jurors hugged Kenny, they cried. They said, I was so sorry that you had to do this. I mean, it was unbelievable. So emotional.
You think mainstream media is going to show you anything about like this type of shit? Fuck no, they're not. But they should. They should. They should. They need to. They need to.
And I told his mother, but for you, none of this. And it was such an emotional thing. Everybody's crying. The TV cameras are there. I said, but for you, none of this happens. And Kenny's still in prison. She never took no for an answer. No.
Never took no for an answer. Pounded the pavement every day. 15 years.
Asked lawyer after lawyer, will you help my son? Everybody said, no, not for free. She's like, I got no money.
A mother's love.
And persistence. Yeah.
So back to something that you just said.
Yeah.
So you were physically exhausted. And I feel, just knowing you in the amount of time that I have, you are. And instead of it being perceived as arrogant or loving yourself, can it just be giving yourself credit where it's due?
Right.
Or is that also because, you can go back to the whole female thing or the woman thing and
okay, so listen to this last part of this interview. It's really important.
And instead of it being perceived as arrogant or loving yourself, can it just be giving yourself credit where it's due?
Right.
Or is that also because, you can go back to the whole female thing or the woman thing and, just to maybe jet back a little bit to when, I don't know the prosecutor's name, but when he was trying to say that you were dramatic.
Oh,
well, would he have said that if you were a typical white lawyer stuffed in a suit up there? Would he have used those words? And so I think being a woman, we're supposed to just kind of be self-deprecating, and we're supposed to just kind of recoil. And so when you hear a woman say, I'm really good at this and I did a really good job with this, oh, she's arrogant, oh, she thinks this of herself. Okay, no, these are negative.
I'm really good at what I do, guys. I have no problem saying that. I say it because you're supposed to believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, who the fuck will? How do you get other people to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself? Believe in yourself. Teach your kids to believe in themselves and that they can do anything that they put their minds to. It's important.
Words. I believe in myself because if I don't, who will?
Who will?
Who will?
And also, I didn't give him those words
Yes,
to say.
Carrie.
So that's completely authentic, right? And my point about that, like taking in the moment when people are seeing us, is because that's so authentic. We can't control that.
Fuck
And
yeah.
we're so harsh on ourselves, and I feel like it took me a while to get there in my work, but I'm unapologetic about how I am now. Like my theatrics in the courtroom, I'm not theatrical to be theatrical, but I will drive home a point. If the government wants to use a prop, oh, for sure as shit, that prop will become mine.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
Fuck,
I'm in
you
it to
love
win it,
this woman. You guys
and
know how torn
I
I
will
am.
be sarcastic.
You guys understand. Like, this woman is everything that everybody in America deserves if you were ever a defendant. And I'm true to who I am. And she's a fucking rock star, and she's going to fucking bring it. She's going to absolutely fucking bring it. And if Columbus doesn't have their fucking shit together, she's going to win. Because she can win.
Casting when appropriate, I will kill him with kindness. I will understand that this is not a moment about me, and I will let that witness have that moment. I will completely adapt to whatever's coming at me. But it took, me a while to figure out, just own the shit out of who you are.
Yeah.
And we're so, culturally trained, we are, to be apologizing, for who we are, and kind of that's innate self-deprecation we do. Like, oh, I know I'm aggressive, but I need to be because of my job.
Right.
Well, why are you pre-gaming that? Right. And is it aggressive? And
Or
to
is it
your
assertive?
point, is, why are you even putting a word on it? Just do you.
Mm-hmm.
And when I teach, people are like, they see me up there, and the first thing I say is, when someone sees me do my thing, I'm like, let me be clear. Do not try what you have just seen.
Right.
It's like when you see some skater go off and do a flip. Do not try this at home, kids.
Right.
But the reason why you don't try it at home is because it's not you.
Right.
You do you.
You have to find your authenticity.
Totally.
Before, authenticity is your currency. It's
Yes.
huge, right? And you have to find that. Not everyone's going to have the same, Diane style.
No, and this is true of all of us. I think if somebody is out there describing me, whether it's my best friend or the person at the Starbucks store or a person at work, or even someone that doesn't want to like me.
There you go.
If they said, she's no bullshit, she just says it like it is, I'm like,
I win.
fuck yes, I'm done here.
I feel the same exact
I'm
way.
done here.
I feel the same way.
And you know what? There's a lot of people in my law firm don't like me.
Speaking of,
I love it. She's like, a lot of people in my law firm don't like me, but you want to know what they won't fucking say about me? It's like, out here, I'm not here to be everybody's friend that has like a YouTube channel or mainstream media that has a channel. No, dude, I'm me. And I believe that I'm respectful. I fight for the respect of the colleagues of what we do for a living, and it's important. And I'm allowed to have my opinion. And I choose to be as politically correct, but as also as brash as I want to be. I am who I am, but I wear my heart on my sleeve, and it is what it is. Like this is, I wanted you guys to see it up close and personal, who we are talking about, on who Mike McKee has as a lawyer. And it's more than just when someone says, oh, she's a high-powered defense attorney. No, this is who she is, okay? This is who she is, and she deserves this. This is who she is. It's like, come interview me if you want to know who I am, man. Don't go out there and believe little fucking puppets. Come watch my channel if you want to know who I am. You're going to know after a couple episodes who I am. Don't listen to people about who I am. I have a channel. Watch it yourself. And then you own your own fucking brain, and then tell me who the fuck I am.
But they will say, she says it like it is.
so this is on. I've had this on a shelf here for the last
Okay.
5 minutes. So speaking of your law firm, Ace
Mhm.
Miller, first of all, ratio of men to women there,
Interesting.
just ballpark.
I don't know the ratio if we include the associates, but I mean, it's disparate. It's more men than women for
Mostly
sure.
white.
Particularly in the leadership and the senior
Okay.
partner level.
So I'm
Mostly white. Yes.
Okay.
Very mostly
So
white.
I have a visual, but I'm trying to figure out, in my world, if I had a Diane Menashe in my law firm, I am like, red carpet. I mean, you have to be like a LeBron James there. And so the question is, are you treated as such, or are the egos there so just cemented and just thick that you may not be as appreciated as I feel like I would perceive you to be? I picture you like walking in after
yeah.
winning a case like that.
Yeah.
Also, let's give so much credit here where credit's due. What an amazing interviewer, right? How good did Carrie do in this interview? Like, Carrie literally just smoked City here in this interview. Like, Diane should be like, do you need to be my PR person? Carrie did a phenomenal job in this interview. Like, nailed this. I mean, holy shit. How did this interview only get 2,500 views before last night? After I shared it, I think it got a couple extra hundred. Like, it went from 2,500 to like 27 or 2,800. And I'm just like, what the hell is wrong with people, man? Like, damn. Like, this interview's been out here for 2 years, and you're gonna tell me that nobody locally went up to Carrie and like said, hey, I would love to like it's kind of like when I saw that Gabriela Vargas had that interview with I invited both of them on. These people are wild, man. These people are absolutely wild. These jealous little fucking cunts. Sorry, but I said it. I don't give a shit. This stuff is sick. How mainstream media wouldn't be promoting this in Columbus is absolutely vile. And it just shows me that they're just jealous human beings. That's all it is. Carrie, phenomenal job. And in fact, I'm going to call you up, Carrie, because I want to interview you about interviewing Diane. Because I want to know what it was like to interview her and what you took away from it and just anything I could learn from it. But this interview is hands down. This is like a 2020. Like this is she just did so good. And people need to know that. Great job, Carrie. I mean, just awesome. Phenomenal. That's a lot to say.
Like, I mean, again, movie, right?
It's not the.
So here's Diane growing up, okay?
But back to Barbie.
Okay, so I want you guys to understand who Diane is growing up.
Like a young kid, like maybe 6 or 7.
A lot of big wheels, setting my Barbies on fire. Not that I was a pyromaniac, but I just didn't see the need for Barbie.
I didn't either.
Or I just didn't get Barbie, and certainly didn't get Ken. Never
Don't get Ken.
And I still don't get Ken.
He's the best. Dude, tell me that's not utterly classic right there. And I still don't get Ken. Like, amazing. That is hilarious. That is just so funny to me. Fuck Ken. And I still don't get Ken.
Didn't get Ken. Never
Don't get Ken.
And I still don't get Ken. You know what I mean? That's sort of a lifelong problem. But back to Barbie. There's a lot of big wheels. There's a lot of in the dirt. Even then didn't like to wear dresses, but my mother, there was a lot of dresses back then. Like the family where you would have to get dressed to go on the airplane.
Oh yeah.
Like you were going to church. That was our family.
You have to be perfect. You have to look perfect, right?
Yeah, because she didn't want to see what was going on the inside. So the exterior
Fantastic.
was beautiful.
That's for another podcast.
Yes.
Okay, so I read, because I'm very prepared here.
Okay.
So everybody, I've gotten tons of questions, by the way. So one question is obviously, when did Diane know? When did she have this aha moment that her destiny was to be an attorney? And so I understand that in 2nd grade, you had to defend Tommy the toothbrush. So give me a little backdrop on Tommy the toothbrush.
So before I knew I wanted to be a lawyer, I thought I wanted to be an actress.
That's actually, they
do go hand in hand. So I tried out for the play, and the role that I got was defending Tommy the toothbrush. And of course, the plot line given my client, but it was about the value of brushing your teeth. As the storylines went in 2nd grade. So needless to say, I defended Tommy the toothbrush. And I was like, this is amazing. But it wasn't this, the acting. It was like this, the defending Tommy.
And that you
and I
kind of
won. I mean, Tommy exonerated. Yes.
Side note. And I won. So did that really, like, as you grew up as a child, you're like, I'm going to be a lawyer.
Totally. And then I would see TV shows or I'm dating myself old school, the sides of buses with TV show placards. And I would see the woman and I would be like, that's going to be me.
Are you on any buses yet?
I mean, #goals.
That's 2023 goals.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but this is a hoot.
I skipped
goals. Could be on a fucking couple buses, bitch. Those are my goals. I'm on some park benches though. People are sitting on my face all the time.
buses, and I've gone to other places.
If I don't see you on a park bench,
for sure I'm on park benches. Just my name and some expletives. Yeah,
perfect. So then you venture on to Purdue.
Yep.
And now I did learn some new things about you, surprisingly, that I didn't know, being that I'm your friend now. I didn't know you went to Purdue to play softball.
I did.
And I really didn't know that you kind of transitioned into being on the rowing team.
Yeah. And before Purdue, there was an interesting part of my life. I went to boarding school. So it's from Seattle. Went to high school, boarding school in Palo Alto. Loved me some softball. Went to Purdue.
What position were you in softball?
I was third base.
Okay.
And then I get to Purdue, and as life is, that didn't love the coach. I got there early. Didn't love the coach, as sometimes happens, you know.
All right, guys, if you guys want to hear more about this, we will do it. I just had to bring the truth to you guys, but the arraignment, obviously 1 minute and 15 seconds. TNT buy a coffee. Thank you so much. Allie Tally says 5 Truth and Transparency memberships. Thank you so much. Kay Schmidt did 5 Truth and Transparency memberships. Thank you so much. Figured he would go big for his defense. This will definitely be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. Again, not guilty across the board that she put in, and she's reserving the right to bring up the whole bail situation here. But right now, you know, Wave talking about it, they didn't even want to talk about it. I honestly think she wants to do that off camera with the relationship that she has to feel out where the prosecution is. It's been said, but worth saying it again. Love the hair. Thank you so much. I also think that if she already knows where the prosecution is, that they're going to be saying X, Y, and Z, she doesn't want that to be even just more broadcast over. You know, Diane's not a dummy. VIP vibes. Yes. Yes. Cheryl Ann 3. Thank you so much, 499. Thanks for all that you are doing. Yes, thank you. Amanda Snyder, thank you so much. William, $5, thank you so much. Jacob, he hit me in the Cash App or PayPal. Want to say thank you so much. I think it's Jacob. Fuck, I hope it's Jacob. E. Thomas, new member. Gina, hell yeah, new member. MTNL, I think I already said that, right? V Slims, MRM, Jen Anderson, yep, Turkey, yep, I got you guys. Okay, good. All right, so this is how things are going to play out from here on out. Going to give you guys a little insider info. We went ahead and made arrangements with Dempsey's across the street from the Common Pleas Court. And so every hearing that I'm going to actually be able to have my laptop down there, and we're going to be live then from Dempsey's outside. So every hearing that starts at 1, we will go live at 11 from inside Dempsey's. If it's nice outside, I can be on the patio right there, which is going to be right outside the courthouse. So we'll be live doing like a pregame to talk about what's being heard that day. If it's a hearing that starts at 9, they said they will work with me to be able to be open so that I can just like be down there and be able to live stream from there, and have you guys seeing everything that we're seeing. But then also I'll be able to be outside or over at the courthouse running back and forth. So just what else? Oh, and if everybody's a local that watches, come down, show support for the families. This is all about getting the truth and doing it through transparency. All opinions are always welcome as long as they are always respectful. So that was the big thing, is that having a place that's right over there. And I call it tailgating for the truth. I'm like, if we're going to tailgate for sporting events, which is like a sporting event, shouldn't we like be tailgating for people's lives? You know what I mean? Or people to get justice. Like, there's a reason to tailgate. Jesus, if you're going to do it over a sports team, shouldn't you do it over like a life? You know, that's my take. So yeah, Dempsey's again, right across the street from the courthouse. As soon as we start getting like a schedule with it, we're going to be gavel to gavel, as somebody best put it in chat. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I posted a couple shorts. I did a couple videos that way you could see around the courthouse. That way you could see when he has to enter. Today was just via Zoom, so he didn't get to travel over from the Fisher New County jail. But the videos that I put out, that's the way that he has to enter and go down into the Sally Port to get in. So there you go. Much love and thoughts and prayers for all families that are dealing with this. I mean, and the kids, their lives are never going to be the same. So thank you so much. Keep being respectful and keep demanding transparency through our courts and justice for always for the victims. Till next time, guys. See you on the flip.